Hey everyone, welcome to your university, the place where we talk all about the Dragon Ball universe. Today, we are going to go through Whis revealing when Goku used Mygat no Gokai for the first time. And if you would like to see more Dragon Ball content, please leave your like and subscribe to join our university. The Mygat no Gokai, better known as Ultra Instinct, is an ability recently introduced to us in the Dragon Ball universe that requires a great amount of skill and effort to learn. Although it gives its users great powers, that doesn't necessarily mean that he can perfect it to its maximum, so that he becomes as strong as someone who has perfected it. There are those who have been able to reach their maximum with the technique, such as the angels themselves, who claim to use Ultra Instinct naturally since forever, and others like Beerus himself, who knows the skill but has never been able to use it perfectly. This implies that one's power is not directly connected with who will learn it, but rather the individual ability of the person. But after all, what is Mygat no Gokai? Is it a technique or a differentiated ability? Who is capable of using it? How did Goku learn it? And when was the first time he used it? Was it during the Tournament of Power when he first used it? It is possible that Whis has kept this revelation to this day, not being able to reveal it for some other reasons. All of this is what we are going to talk about in today's video, so let's go. Ultra Instinct is a supreme technique that separates the consciousness from the body, allowing the fighter to move and fight independently of a martial artist's thoughts and emotions. It is an extraordinarily difficult technique to master, even for the gods of destruction. However, angels like Whis seem to have mastered this technique and seem to have relative ease in using it. As a result, this ability has become known as the state of the gods. This technique uniquely manifests as a transformation of Son Goku and is currently his most powerful form, transcending even the oh-so-powerful Super Saiyan Blue. Despite this, Beerus and the other gods recognize the full form of the transformation, suggesting that it may not be completely unique to Goku. The body of any living being is accompanied by limitations. For someone to fight or even perform basic actions, they must first process their actions and think with their brain. Doing so limits their speed and will impair their ability to fight effectively. The ultimate goal for a fighter is mastery of self-movement, the ability for every part of their body to act and think on its own. This allows for much greater reaction speed, as a fighter no longer needs to spend time processing their actions and can simply do them. Whis has mastered this ability, although Beerus possesses a more rudimentary form and has not been able to master it. For those who have not mastered the technique, they are still more than capable of using it, as seen when Beerus faced the God of Destruction in the Zen exhibition match. He avoided a good majority of his techniques without even looking, though he was still able to get caught because he did not completely master it. Whis, who completely mastered the technique, was able to fend off two Saiyan beyond gods with no problem, handling them as if they were children. Goku would later show a mastered version of this technique as well, accompanied by a new form that incorporated this style by instinct. Whis states that if someone mastered this technique, they could, in theory, avoid any threat. Recognizing whether someone is using Ultra Instinct seems to be quite difficult, as it requires one to know Ultra Instinct and be familiar with a person's fighting style. Goku achieved Ultra Perfect Instinct by concentrating completely on his fight with Jiren and building up heat within himself during the match. He also abandoned the idea of allowing his emotions to overwhelm him, as they often did in his Super Saiyan transformations, and instead focused on making his heart calm and gentle. Releasing the heat into a galaxy-like disk of energy, Goku then absorbed it back into himself, allowing him to manifest the full technique, which granted him a power that surpasses that of a god of destruction. The power of Ultra Instinct is impressive, allowing him to easily surpass Jiren even when the alien increased his power to the maximum. Ultra Instinct also allowed Goku to attack and defend against Jiren without thinking. This allowed the Saiyan to avoid most of the Pride Troopers' attacks and deliver devastating counterattacks. His energy attacks, now dark blue in color, were also able to completely cancel out Jiren's. Lastly, Goku, when using Ultra Instinct, does not have the strange voice phenomenon that he displayed when demonstrating only a foreboding of the technique. Strangely, whenever Goku screams while displaying the Ultra Instinct Omen, his voice is accompanied by a double timbre. that of his own voice, a deep resounding sound that most closely resembles the gray tape transformation. The biggest disadvantage of Ultra Instinct is the difficulty in which the technique is mastered. For example, God of Destruction Beerus has spent millions of years in training and has yet to master the technique. A significant part of that difficulty comes with the technique's huge stamina drain. For those who haven't trained enough with Ultra Instinct, the forced instinctive body movements in combat take a terrible toll. As a result, novice users of Ultra Instinct cannot maintain it for long. Like his Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan Blue transformations, Ultra Instinct was susceptible to Goku's anger, allowing him another explosive surge of power and speed whenever Jiren angered the Saiyan. However, because this burst of emotion disrupted the calm in his heart that allowed him to obtain the technique in the first place, Goku's ability to use Ultra Instinct expired painfully soon after. Finally, although Goku can activate the Ultra Instinct Omen at will, he cannot use the true technique at will. He told Vegeta at the end of the Tournament of Power that this form was the result of him being trapped, and he currently cannot use it at will. But before Goku could officially awaken his higher instinct, he achieved a unique form named the Omen Higher Instinct, being a prelude or gateway to the true transformation he previously wished to achieve. Although beings like Whis and Maris are aware of the form, so far it is unique to Son Goku. He first exhibits a foreboding of awakening the higher instinct after ingesting the 7th universe Genki Dam energy. Then he could only re-adopt the transformation when his limits were broken in the same way, such as during his battle with Kefla and again when he had his rematch against Jiren. Upon awakening this state, several fighters have noted that Goku assumes the Ultra Instinct stance. He also generates an enormous amount of heat around his body, which takes the form of his shimmering aura. The increase in power in Omen is far beyond Super Saiyan Blue, roughly equal to Kefla's Super Saiyan 2 state, and allowing him to initially fight evenly with Jiren. Whis describes the power of this Omen as the boundary-breaking power of the gods. This is also accompanied by an intense growth rate. Goku's strength evolves more and more the more he fights in this form. His ki in this form is described as warm and eerily quiet. By displaying the presage of Ultra Instinct, Goku is able to tap into some of the full power of the technique. This allows him to instinctively dodge his opponent's attacks. However, since Ultra Instinct is not true, his thoughts interfere with his ability to instinctively attack. In addition, he is restricted by the limits of his own body, which essentially prohibits him from dodging techniques that are too fast for him to react to. This was best displayed when he narrowly avoided Kefla's final technique and also several times by Jiren, who was able to attack him while he was in this state. He is also limited by his body's endurance and cannot maintain this state for long, as the instinctive movements his body makes are extremely exhausting. According to Whis and Maris, the Omen stage of Ultra Instinct is highly unstable. This is because, although the user has achieved the ability to react, dodge, and defend without the interference of his thoughts, he still cannot effectively attack in the same way. Therefore, maintaining Omen requires a noticeable level of stamina, and Goku cannot sustain it for very long. Previously, this disadvantage was even more pronounced, as during the Tournament of Power, Goku could only reach Omen whenever he was exhausted and at his breaking point. In fact, Ultra Instinct, even as a prior technique like the Omen previously gained by Goku, is something that takes time and a lot of effort in its training. Therefore, even gods of destruction who have knowledge of Ultra Instinct are not necessarily able to perfect it to the point of using it like the angels themselves, who are in constant use as if they were just breathing. It is a continuous use without any worries. With that in mind, it is possible that even for Goku, who went through a grand period of training, there was considerable difficulty for him to learn and finally be able to use it in combat. Therefore, it is likely that he was only able to use it officially during the Omen, no matter how hard he had previously tried his best to be able to do his best at it. Even Whis, even though he had felt the abilities in him with his Ultra Instinct growing within him, never mentioned anything until he was officially able to put that ability into action during a good fight. And that's what we saw in the anime and manga too. Hopefully his Ultra Instinct will be able to improve and evolve into another technique eventually, especially now that we've had the announcement of a new season of the anime for mid-2023. What about you? Would you like to see Mai get no Gokai in the anime again? Or would you like to see our protagonist learning another technique? Leave your opinion in the comments. That's it. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any suggestions for videos, don't forget to comment here below, because I'll be reading all of them as I always do. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any content from your university.